It is hard to feel so sad. It doesn't feel good. It makes us feel like we want to find a way to distract ourselves, take our attention off of this, but so far nothing's worked. It's all we're thinking about. It's all we can feel. It's not easy. Whether this is your first year at our school or if you've been here since you were 3 years old, it's really hard. And no matter how long we knew Coach, we had a connection with him that mattered a lot. It mattered a lot. And we have connections to Josie and Brady and Kyle that matter a lot. So we're feeling so sad. And then at the same time, we find ourselves, when we ask, where did Coach go? We find ourselves realizing Coach has gone home. He's gone home. He's gone to heaven, our true home. You know, our Father, who art in heaven. Coach has gone home. And then we feel like, is it scary to go home? Home is where the heart is. Home is where we belong. So what does that mean for Coach to go home? For anyone to go home? One of the things we've talked a lot about this year is that there is an invisible world that's everywhere, always. And it is bigger and it is more real than the world that we live in. It's bigger than the universe. The universe is inside of it. And everything that we can see is inside of it too, but it's bigger than that. So going home means that Coach has left the visible world and he's now in the invisible world. That's just as real. In fact, it's even more real than this world is. And when we hear that, we might maybe take some of our attention off of being sad and be a little curious. Wait a minute. Home is in the invisible world? When we go home, we go to the invisible world? What does that mean? What is that like? Well, I'm here to tell you that you know how it feels a little hard to see adults crying? It may also feel hard to hear adults say, "Sweetie, I don't know either. I don't know. I don't know." We live in the visible world. We know about the invisible world. We create beautiful churches to show us that there is an invisible world, and we look at stained glass and we try to imagine the invisible world. But we live here. Because the invisible world is our true home, we're all gonna get to experience it. It's where we're all gonna be together, and it's gonna be amazing. And that's when we're gonna see Coach, and that's when we're gonna see our grandparents, and that's when we're gonna see Ophelia's dad. We're gonna be there for all of those reunions. But for now, if you ask any of the adults, what's it like? We can't tell you. Because we're here with you. So, do you see why it's so hard right now? We're so sad. But we're also curious about that invisible world. We know that Coach is still there. We feel him. We're thinking about him. He's in our minds and in our hearts. He didn't just go away. He went home. And And that's about all the adults can tell you right now. Coach isn't gone. Not forever. No way. But he's gone into the invisible world. And that's home. And that might make you say, but that makes me have about 1 billion other questions. And that's okay. We're all going to just have our questions. Mrs. Hernandez, in Spanish-speaking places, isn't it true that they don't really say, I'm sorry, the way that we do in English-speaking places? Like, you know, when you see somebody from Coach B's family, like Mrs. Barbieri or the kids, you might want to say, I'm sorry. But it doesn't sound right in a way, because I'm sorry is what you say when you do something wrong, and we didn't do anything wrong. So what do you say in Spanish that's a lot like I'm sorry? Is it fair to say, lo siento, lo siento? And you know what lo siento means? You see, she's like, I don't know exactly how to put it into words. It's so beautiful and big. Lo siento means, I feel it. Isn't that even better than I'm sorry? Because we didn't do anything wrong. We're hurting too. But if you see Mrs. Barbieri and you give her a big hug and say, lo siento, you're saying, I feel it. Couldn't you tell that Tessa and Mrs. Clahessy could feel it by the way they read those readings? Couldn't you tell that Mr. Rowley could feel it? Coach was his gym teacher too. He could feel it. It's not the same thing as being Coach B's kid, but you're Coach B's kids too, in a way, right? Lo siento means I feel it. Some of the sadness that everybody else feels, I feel it too. We're feeling it together. It reminds me of a story I heard once about a little girl who was allowed to go next door to her friend's house, but she came home late and her mom was mad. And she was mad because she was worried. But so her mom said to her, where have you been? And she said, I was helping my friend. Her doll broke. And the mom said, so you helped her fix it? She said, no, we couldn't. So I just helped her cry. The story makes sense right now, doesn't it? Couldn't fix it, so I helped her cry. That's what we're going to do this week. We can't fix it, but we can help each other. We can help each other cry. We can help each other remember. We can help each other love. Lo siento. I feel it too. I feel the love for Coach. Lo siento. I feel the sadness that I don't get to see Coach in the visible world. Lo siento. I remember when Coach did that. Lo siento. I feel it too. Because heaven is our true home, because even though I was born in Rochester, and sometimes when I go for Thanksgiving, I'm going to go home and see my parents, I call it home, but that's not my true home. And I live in Glens Falls, and I have an awesome house, and I get to work at a great school in Parrish, but I'm not going to be here forever either. My true home and your true home and our true home and Coach's true home, it's not here. It's with our Father, who art in heaven. And we don't need to rush there. All of us go there at the time that mysteriously is our time. And we don't like that this was Coach's time. It doesn't make any sense to us. We don't like it. If it were up to us, we would change it. But that's another one of those questions we don't have an answer to. But we can help each other cry, help each other feel, help each other remember. And if it's true that we're all going home one day, then our real job in life is to walk each other home. That's what we're here to do. We're here to walk each other home. So let us not be afraid of the invisible world, or of heaven, or of dying someday, because it's all part of a great mystery that adults can't put into words. But lo siento, we feel it too. So let us go forth feeling all of the feelings that we have and not being afraid of them, because they're directly connected to how much we love Coach and how much we always will. The feelings we have right now are almost like a receipt that you get at the store. You know when you buy candy and then you get a little receipt? Would you like your receipt? Sure. It's the receipt that shows that you paid the price for the candy. The feelings we have right now, they show that we paid the price for loving Coach. We've got the receipt. We've got it right here. It hurts. But it's part of loving Coach. And we wouldn't trade him for anything in the world. So let us take care of each other, and let us not be afraid of the beautiful plans and promises that God has made for us, because they're all true.